Alright, seniors, let's do notes for May. Let's begin with sentence construction. Alright, part 1, rewriting sentences while retaining the meaning. At times, you're provided with clues or just fill in the blanks, whatever. Alright, number 1. We blanked the computer for over 10 years. So that's the original sentence. So we were using that computer for over 10 years. We are using that computer for over 10 years. We are using that computer for 10 years. Okay, all of these are incorrect. This one is okay, but it doesn't make much sense. Alright, it's just okay. It's not really incorrect, but it's not really correct either. So we had been using that computer for over 10 years. So now that makes much more sense. We have been using that computer for over 10 years in case you're still using it. And we have used that computer for over 10 years. So the last two are the best choices, and this one is also correct. Okay, now let's see number 2. The Earth spins on its axis. It's the original. So the Earth has been spinning on its axis since time immemorial. That means you can't remember since when? Since a very long time. Right, so since time immemorial. That means you don't remember you don't know the exact date. It's so long time. It's such a long time ago. Okay, number 3. Did I tell you about the decision? That's the original sentence. Did I tell you about the decision? Question mark. You're asking somebody, or somebody's asking you that. I can't remember. Did I tell you about the decision? No, that's grammatically incorrect. I can't remember whether I told you about the decision. Okay, that's all right. I can't remember telling you about the decision. Again, that is also all right. These two are not the answers. Why? Because this is a question, whereas over here, the other person already knows the decision. Right, so again, pay attention in the focus on this one. In the original sentence, it's like you're asking that other person, did I tell you about it? You don't know whether or not they know. However, over here in this one, they already know, but you can't remember telling them about the decision. Therefore, it's not the correct answer, even though it's correct. The sentence is correct. So the correct answer is, I can't remember whether or not I told you about the decision. I can't remember whether or not I told you about the decision. That means you don't know whether they know the decision or not. Okay, number 4. How much is that coat? So then the provided clue is, why don't you ask the shop assistant, how much does that coat cost? Again, you have two questions in a question. That doesn't make sense. So why don't you ask the shop assistant how much that coat costs? Right, so that is a question. Why don't you ask how much it costs? Not here, two questions in a question. So you can't do that. It doesn't make sense because the other person doesn't know what the question is then. Is it this one or is it this one? Okay, number 5. Where did she find cranberries in January? Right, so I wonder, did she find cranberries in January? It's not correct because you change the meaning. Even though the sentence is correct, it makes grammatically it's correct. But here you're wondering if she found cranberries or not. However, in the original sentence, it's already confirmed that she has already found these cranberries. So I wonder where she found cranberries in Jan. Right, so that's the correct one. Okay, number 6. What's the purpose of your visit? So that's the original sentence, right? Let's put it below. Okay, shifted it down, right? So what's the purpose of your visit? May I ask you, why did you visit? It's gone to past tense. May I ask you your purpose of your visit? Okay, it's not totally incorrect, but it's too long. May I ask you your purpose of your visit? Of course, it's his purpose or her purpose. May I ask you why you visit? Grammatically incorrect. May I ask you? It's not grammatically incorrect, but you change the tense. We change the tense. You change the meaning. May I ask you why you visit me? Okay, also not really correct. So may I ask you what you want? Okay, that's all right, but it's informal. May I ask you what the purpose of your visit is? Okay, that's correct, but it's too long. So may I ask you the purpose of your visit, or may I ask you why you're visiting? Both of these are very good sentences. So these are correct, even though these are okay. The last two are green, and the ones that green are correct. Number 7. Is there a bank near here? All right. So could you tell me a near bank here? That's grammatically incorrect. Could you tell me where is the nearest bank? Even although this sentence is correct, it's not the answer. It's not the answer because the original question is there a bank somewhere close by? Is there a bank near here? Any bank? It's not where the nearest bank. We're not concerned about that. Maybe the nearest bank is in the opposite direction and you have to drive or you have to go straight and turn around and it's really inconvenient. We just want to know any bank that is close by. So could you tell me whether there is a bank near here? Now that's the same meaning, right? It retains the same meaning as the original sentence. Number 8, where does he live now? That's the original sentence. I wish I knew where he is living. Okay. I wish I knew where he lives. Okay, it's not really better, it's just okay. Let me correct that. I wish I knew where he lived. That's much better. I wish, because it's wish. Wish what? I wish I knew where he lived, or I wish I knew where he is living. That is okay, but this is the best one. Okay, let's see number 9. Why is he shouting? I have no idea about why he is shouting. No, that's not correct at all. Why about? I have no idea why he's shouting. Keep it plain and simple as plain as you can. No one knows anything about his background, do they? Right, number 10. So nothing was known about his background. First of all, the tense has changed and it's not the same meaning. Nothing is known about his background again. It's incomplete. Nothing is known about his background, isn't it? You can't have two negations. First you say nothing, then you say again none, no, negative, negative, or negation, negation. That's not possible. Just because if you really use the sentence, if you use the sentence in real life, it's not going to make much sense. Nothing is known about his background, is it? Now that's the correct sentence. That's the correct way to rephrase this original sentence. Right. 11. She has to finish all the reports before 5 p.m. today. All the reports have to be finished by 5 p.m. today. Okay, by or before. All right. All the reports have to be finished by her. She has to finish. Right. So all the reports have to be finished by her by 5 or before 5 p.m. today. Now this is complete. This is good, but it's not complete because we are missing out certain information. She. Right. Okay. 12. Tom often falls asleep while the teacher is explaining the lesson. That's the original sentence. So Tom's teacher wishes he didn't fall asleep while the teacher is explaining the lesson. It's too long. Right, we already mentioned teacher here. Why again teacher? Tom's teacher wishes he doesn't fall asleep while the teacher's, this is even worse. Tom's teacher wishes he didn't fall asleep while the teacher was explaining the lesson again. Tom's teacher didn't wishes he didn't fall asleep while the teacher was explaining the lesson. Why is this? Why do we have so many teachers over here? Tom's teacher wishes he stays awake. It's grammatically incorrect. Tom's teacher wishes he didn't fall asleep while she is explaining the lesson. Right, she wishes what? That he didn't fall asleep. When? While she's explaining the lesson. And that makes much more sense. Okay, now let's look at some of your sentences. Some arms, after being used by the army in the old days, are now on public display. Yeah, it's good, but improve it a bit and add some punctuation. Some arms, comma, after being used by the army in the old wars, comma, are now on public display. So that's how you construct a sentence. Some arms are now on public display. And if you have to insert more information, you have to add commas and then it is grammatically correct. Okay, my manager ousted me. It's not the correct usage of oust. So the president of that country, we discussed with which country, but I just don't want to put it. So the president of that country was ousted from office. That means he was forcibly removed from office. That country's army has ousted many politicians. So these two are good sentences. Right, we know which country, just don't want to put it. Right, number 3. Our company's earnings are now in the manager's bank account. Okay. One of my friends used to be very punctual before. However, now he's always late. Okay. My cousin loves to buy embroidery. Okay, it's not a good sentence because you can't really buy embroidery. Embroidery is something that is done to dresses, so you can't really buy it. So my cousin loves buying embroidered dresses. Number six, I love root vegetables and I often add them to my meals. They render a lot of flavor, not to mention being good for health as well, or not to mention the health benefits as well. Instead of saying not to mention being good for health as well, you can just shorten it and say not to mention the health benefits as well. Okay, that's a good sentence. Number seven, that city is not as picturesque. Is not a good picturesque place. It's not a very good way of putting it into words. So that city is not picturesque. Is not as picturesque as they make it seem or as they make it appear in the photographs or in the movies or whatever. Right, so it's not as picturesque as they make it appear or as they make it seem. Number eight, that's a garbage sentence. Kindly do not construct such sentences. Are you to the cinema recently? What do you see? What's the meaning of that? Have you been to the cinema recently? What did you see? And number nine, do you watch any TV series right now? That's not possible because are you watching any TV series right now? Are you watching? Neither progressive or the continuous tense. Number 10, what did you do at 8 o'clock last night? Although it's grammatically correct, it's usually would be constituted as incorrect. Why? Because I told you why. So what were you doing at 8 o'clock last night? Carlos does not come to the cinema because he has to work. Okay, it's not a wrong sentence, but it's not the best way to put it. He does not come to the cinema. What? Never. So Carlos can't come to the cinema because he has to work. That's much better. And Carlos could not come to the cinema because he had to work. That's even better. That's a sentence which you will use most often in your real life conversations. Right. 12. How long have they known each other when they moved together? Now that's just grammatically incorrect. How long have they known each other when they move in together? Again, same problem. How long will they have known each other when they move together? So that's in the future. Have they moved together? No, not yet, but they will in the future. So at that point, at that instance, at that moment when they move in together or when they move together, how long will they have known each other? Right, now that makes perfect sense. And now, how long had they known each other when they moved in together or when they moved together? Whatever. So now that makes the perfect sense, makes the best sense, and that's the sort of sentence you will use most frequently in your real life situations. All right. 13. Do you play any sport? How long would you play it? It doesn't make sense. Do you play and how long would you play it? It doesn't make any sense. Which the person who's listening to the sentence or who's reading the sentence will be confused as to the timeline. I mean, which time are you talking about now or before? So, do you play any sport? How long have you been playing it? Right. For example, the answer can be yes, I play golf. I've been playing it for 5 years, or I've been playing it since 2020, whatever. Right now, that's with this question, you can get a sensible answer, but with this question, you can't get a sensible answer because doesn't doesn't make sense. Okay, 14. Have you ever lose something? Sorry, have you ever lost something? Not lose something. Have you ever lost something important to you? Okay, again, are you ever been abroad? Which countries have you visited? Not a correct sentence at all. At all. Have you ever been abroad? Not are you ever been. Have you ever been abroad? Have you been abroad? Perfect tense, right? Which countries have you visited? Right. Or which countries did you visit is also all right. So which countries have you visited? 16. What would you do at the weekends? What did you do last weekend? Again, it doesn't make sense, right? Because what did you do? What would you do at the weekends? Which weekends are we talking about? And what did you do last weekend? Suddenly we jump to last weekend. Doesn't make sense. So what did you do at the sorry, what do you do at the weekends? What did you do last weekend? So I go to the park on the weekends. Last week I could not or I did not go as it was raining. Right. So I stayed at home. So now you can get a meaningful and sensible answer. if you ask such a question. However, if you ask such a question, you can't get any sensible answers. Okay, it gets colder and colder. Again, it's it's a correct sentence, but it's not. Normally, you wouldn't say it gets colder and colder. It is getting colder and colder in a normal or in a natural conversation. You're talking about the weather, so say you're talking about the weather, and you can say yeah, every day it's getting colder and colder, or every week it's getting colder and colder. Okay. I take the bus to work today because my car broken down. Again, incorrect. I took the bus, not I take the bus to work. You say I take the bus to work, and then suddenly you put today. How can that be? You're talking about today or every day or usually. We just so confusing. It just doesn't make any sense. That's why it's grammatically incorrect. So 18. I took the bus to work today because my car broke down. I took the bus why? Because my car or his car or her car, whatever, his car broke down. So the man is telling you, how did he commute to work today? He commuted by bus. He took the bus because why? Because his car broke down. Okay, 19. We didn't want to spend a holiday in Stuttgart because we have already been there. Now see, we didn't want to spend a holiday. Why? Because we have already been there. Which tense are you in? It's confusing to the listener, to the reader. We didn't want to spend a holiday in Stuttgart because we had already been there. We'd already been there. That's why we didn't want to go there. Right now, it makes much more sense. Now we're in the same. Now we're in the same timeline. Otherwise, it's confusing to the listener, to the reader. What are you talking about? What did you do? You are so dirty. Okay, this makes sense. What did you do? You are so dirty. It's like past and present being sort of stitched up together. It's okay. It's not very good. What are you doing? You are so dirty. Again, if you can see it, I mean, it's no point asking. What have you done? Now that's much better. What have you been doing? You are so dirty. That's the best sentence. What have you been doing? You are so dirty. Right. 21. Oh no, I lost my way. What shall I do? I lost my way. And now what shall I do? Sorry. It just doesn't add up. He's forcibly stitching the times together. Oh no, I had lost my way. What should I do? Now that's even worse. Oh no, it's not even, doesn't even make sense. Oh no, I have lost my way. What shall I do? Now that makes much more sense. I have lost my way. Perfect tense. Now what shall I do now? Right, now it makes much more sense. This is a sentence you can use in real life and the person will understand, or at least you yourself will understand. 22. Dad isn't here. He decorated our flat since morning. Grammatically incorrect. Dad isn't here. He has been decorating our flat since morning. Since is from then until now. Don't get confused with since from now on. All right. 23. I want to learn French, but I didn't start yet. If it's yet, you can't say I didn't start yet, because yet indicates something in the present. I want to learn French, but I have not started yet. Grammatically incorrect. I want to learn French, but I have not been starting yet. It's just getting worse. I want to learn French, but I have not starting yet. That's even worse. I want to learn French, but I have not started yet. Just keep the tenses as simple as you can. Don't invent some new tense. Invent these new tenses or make a concoction out of the tenses and try to construct a sentence. It's very confusing. I want to learn French, but I have not started yet. 24. Colorado is a mountain region. Again, it's incorrect because it's not a mountain region, it's a mountainous region. Right. Canada is a snow country. It can't be a snow country. It's a snowy country or a snowy place, whatever. Take care for the dogs. You can't tell that to anyone. Take care for the dogs. It's just not possible. Take care of the dogs. And care of the dogs is not correct. So take care. Right. Take care of the dogs. You're telling it to someone, but care for the dogs. Right. So get this stuff and practice it. That's the only way you'll remember. And finally, we have 28. I want to say about something to you. That's too confusing. I want to tell about something to you. Even more confusing. I want to talk about something to you. No, not correct. I want to talk to you about something. That's much more natural and correct. I want to talk to you about something. Right. So, seniors, that's all for these Mays, for the notes for May, and please watch the video again and make your own notes. Start practicing. Right. See you in the next one.